Along with the submission of the painting, the artists were asked to submit an artist statement. I think I should read that. I can't memorize it, but I can read it out, and it explains what I thought about the painting and why this defined Mississauga for me. It's Keeper of the Grove, a winter portrait of activist Don Barber in the Cawthra Bush. Recognized as one of the fastest growing major cities in Canada, Mississauga has faced the challenge of protecting natural green spaces and heritage properties during this stage of massive development. At the end of my street, nestled beside access ramps to the QEW, terrain otherwise dominated by concrete and asphalt, Cawthra Bush presents an unexpected oasis of towering trees, lush undergrowth, and wetlands that support an array of wildlife. Swimming against the stream of development supportive policies, Don Barber is a community watchdog who speaks for this irreplaceable natural treasure of Mississauga. In our comfortable society, Don Barber's efforts may appear extreme, but I have no doubt that his struggle will be deeply appreciated by future generations of Mississauga residents, if the Cawthra Bush is preserved. I met Don Barber in the early 90s when I first moved to this area of Mississauga, and to be honest, I'm not sure where I met him. I may have met him in the bush. I walked the dog there regularly, and he was just forming, I believe, Friends of the Cawthra Bush then. And there seemed to be some concern about whether that whole piece of land would be open for development, even though I believe that the family who owned it, they left it to the city. It was supposed to be kept as a natural space. And off and on during the time, Don's been involved in several projects, and I was in contact with him for forming the Friends of the Cawthra Bush, for the Urban Forest Management Committee. I might have that wrong, Mississauga, that the city formed that was supposed to help be a watchdog for the city's trees. There was a water main put through the edge of the forest, and Don was involved in efforts to replant the area after it had been dug up and to try and stop it from being dug up. A few years ago, in 1999, I called on Don when I was involved in I'm not even sure what to call it, a project, an endeavor to have Mississauga pass the tree protection bylaw. And Don was there in a flash when I called him for help. I was living on a property that very unexpectedly, there was over 100 trees that were going to be cut down with no warning, and that's when I realized there were no tree protection bylaws in Mississauga, and it was just a mad dash effort to stop the trees from being cut before we found out what the city's policies were. And Don was the kind of person who I could phone, and even though I hadn't spoken to him in a few years, he was over there half an hour later with a video camera and standing under trees with us so that the trees would not be cut. I don't think there's many people like Don who live in this suburban environment. So we like to think things are good. Most Canadians that I know are I'm not sure, complacent, but we do believe everything's taken care of for us. And sometimes I feel that Don's not openly welcomed because he points out where things aren't being taken care of for us. And he makes sure that people are aware of what's going on around them. So in this, he's one of the people who puts his neck out. I talked to so many people about this.
And he's paying the price.
Yeah, he puts his neck out.